it must be a strange feeling to be going now after all that time.
Yeah, strange, very strange, and it all came about very quickly as well. Look, at the outset, I suppose what I should say is how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to be a part of this club. It's a wonderful club. Everybody that's associated with it knows exactly that. It's a wonderful club for exactly this reason. It has wonderful people involved in it, right from the director of cricket. I'm talking from a cricket point of view, from the director of cricket right down to the academy coaches. Everybody that's involved in it wants the best for this club, and that makes it a very special place to be a part of. In addition to that, actually, the staff around, we often talk about there's a sort of lack of integration between the sort of office staff and perhaps the playing staff. That's only because it's such a big place in comparison to other county clubs. It is just a huge organisation as far as a cricket club is concerned. But it is a wonderful place. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time here, both as a player, then as you say, assistant coach, then as head coach. And I will forever be grateful for everybody that's made that possible.
So when because it was a big move for you from Worcester. I remember when I was told that you were coming as a player, and I can remember thinking that is a big move for him because you know that was your club. But I always thought you settled in so quickly here. And how much did you enjoy your time as a player at Surrey?
Your point is a good one. It was a big move for me. I think I would have, certainly at the time that I was playing at Worcester, described myself as a one-club man. And I fully intended that to be the case. Things happen for a reason. And to sort of have the opportunity to come here to a club like this was one I couldn't turn down given the sort of circumstances that I found myself in. What made that easy, what made that more enjoyable was a certain Gareth Batty being in the ranks here. Gareth and I go back a fair way. He's one of my closest friends regardless of cricket or not. And I hugely respect how he goes about being the man that he is, let alone being the sort of teammate, being the coach that I'm sure that he's turned into. So that made it a lot easier. Steve Davis was here as well. There was a bit of a raid on the Worcestershire squad, to be totally honest. So that made it, familiar faces make things a little easier. In addition to that, county cricket is such that you get to know opposition sort of squads, members quite well if you've played for any at the time. So I'd like to think of myself as pretty easy to get on with. So it didn't, although it was a big move, it was made easier for all those reasons, for the fact that there were some familiar faces and I was made to feel very welcome.
Any particular highlights as a player? I remember 100 Arundel, which I purred my way through. I remember another one at Edgbaston as well in the championship.
There weren't too many.
Well, no, you're not really doing yourself that, but any sort of a particular highlight as a player and sort of in the team?
Yeah, lots, and not necessarily just for sort of my individual performances. Not at all the case. A couple of instances, even actually, I'm thinking sort of broadly about in a sort of coaching capacity as well, to see some of the younger guys that have come through, even when you're playing. And I was, there's no getting away from the fact that I was towards the back end of my playing career by the time I was here. But yeah, individual scores are great, but actually a couple of those wins. One particular game, getting to final stage.
Yeah, of course.
That was huge. That was a big deal for us, having gone through all we've gone through. So that particular game perhaps probably sticks out. There are too many, and I'm getting too old to actually remember
Yeah, well, I can assure you batted well. It's interesting you mentioned the sort of the talent that you work with and that young talent coming through. And obviously you went into the second team, and then you coached the second team, and then you became assistant coach to Michael De Benito, and then you became the head coach. And I was thinking about that, and as you say there, to see some of that young talent in your time, in those roles, come through to do what they're doing now, that must be a lovely feeling and a really satisfying feeling as well.
Absolutely, and actually, it gave me an understanding of the sort of value and the satisfaction you can get from coaching. I never intended, I can never recall thinking that I'm going to finish playing and then become a coach. I'd sort of planned otherwise, to be totally honest. Alec Stewart, the gaffer, did as he does and probably knows best 99.9% of the time, and suggested that I sort of stay involved towards the last year of my contract, and be involved in the second team, just be around, take a bit of a sort of captain, mentor, that type of role. And it was that season that made me realise that satisfaction you can get from being around players in that sort of capacity. I think I had a tendency, because I was lucky enough when I was a young player, I had good influences and people that were prepared to offer their time. They were giving of their time, giving of their opinions, sometimes stern, sometimes encouraging me. But I saw real value in I don't necessarily want to say senior figure or anything, but somebody that actually is invested for the fact that they care about what a young career is going to sort of turn into, or just trying to make you aware. And I think we all play that sort of role as we go through our careers in the dressing room. I think it's a sort of natural progression, and you don't think a great deal of it if that's the way you are and that's the way you operate. So even towards the sort of back end of my playing career, I'd spent a lot of time with Rory Burns. We had a bit of a thing when Ricky Ponting was around, for example, to try and beat the nets. We were waiting for the nets to go up, to be honest with you. Ricky was always ready and prepared to sort of work with anybody. He was always prepared to sort of be that influence, be that person that showed some care, was giving of their time, and he knew a thing or two about batting as well. So, and I think so. Just that example, we were always trying to get into the nets and actually just work stuff through, and that sort of carried on and continued in conversation. Certainly with Burns, I wasn't in any way trying to coach him at the time. I was just trying to say, let's get some work done. We'll get some work done, and then moving then into that role that Alec Stewart proposed, to just be around. Burnsy was obviously in first team and away by then, but then you got the other lads coming through that were almost hungry to sort of learn, hungry to work hard. And it didn't necessarily have to be the older players, the younger players rather. So that, your Popes came through, your Ryan Patels came through, and our Birdies came through at the time. They all wanted to play cricket. And when you get a group like that want to play cricket and want to improve individually and as a team, it's a pretty nice thing to be around. And the reason I was talking about it with younger players was within that there was Aaron Aranath, who was always willing to sort of try and improve his game. At times he was criticised for sort of almost wanting to work too hard, if there is such a thing. But it was something that was sort of labelled on Aaron fairly unfairly. I think he probably put himself under too much pressure. That's a different matter. But his work ethic was second to none. And to be around people like that gives you a sort of real understanding of, well, actually, this is quite cool. It's quite good to be in this role where you can possibly help somebody's career, because you sort of almost think of your own time. So when Alec proposed that sort of then, you probably knew that before. You probably knew that it was going to turn out that way. That I was going to be that I was going to enjoy that role so much that at the end of that season I said, yeah, I'd like to try and coach.
Yeah.
But up until then, I didn't want to coach.
Well, because I can remember you had a lot of other things on the go at the time, and you had a lot of avenues you could have gone down. But I should think, sitting here now, you're glad you did listen to AJ Stewart. And when I read your press release, you said he's been a real mentor to you. Just explain what you have there about how he built, but also he's around the place and as a sounding board. He's been outstanding, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he is for everybody. That's so from players to coaches to catering staff. I'm sure everybody goes to the gaffer for advice. I'm no different. My sort of I got introduced to Alec actually. I had the good fortune to play with him, and there was one particular incident that I suppose set things on its course, and it was a time when I was still at Worcester and I just got into the England team, into the one-day side, and there was talk of possibly me taking over as captain at Worcester. And he probably doesn't remember this, but having said that, he probably does. He'll have a record of it somewhere. But he took time through no sort of need, went out of his way to sort of come and sort of stress that having just got into the England team, it was probably something that I didn't need to sort of take on. It was something that perhaps would come a little bit later, that I should concentrate on trying to sort of get into the team and have as best an England career as I could have. And that struck me really, because somebody again has gone out of their way to think of a bit of a stranger, to be totally honest with you, a young member of the squad, but has been kind enough to sort of express an opinion because of his own experiences and share that with me. So that sort of set things up, and then I wouldn't say I've kept in touch with him, but I had kept in touch with him. But at every point that I happened to play against Surrey, or if I happened to get up another tour or something, or if he was ever around, then I always just gone and said hello and sort of sought his advice on matters. It wasn't until I got to Surrey that sort of then became a fairly regular thing. And he's still, we're both reasonably early. I mean, nobody can beat Alec into the gym at 5:30 in the morning, but we're both here fairly early in the morning to the point that we got to discuss everything, just about everything, to be honest with you. And I still take a lot of advice from him. From even in this role, I've sort of let it be known that I might be sort of taking or demanding a couple of sort of conversations with him about my current role as a director of cricket. He's just been a huge part of my sort of my career as a player. And actually, I've failed to mention one thing. We both played at the same club in Perth. Him a little earlier than I did, but he's a Midland Guildford boy, and I went and played at that club. We have mutual friends in terms of Tom Moody and stuff as a result of that, and Tom's sort of presence at Worcester was obviously Tom, and I'd go as far as saying that my sort of biggest influences are Alec Stewart and Tom Moody, and amongst others, but those two are certainly my biggest influences.
Yeah, and also just sort of the head coach's role, but also that assistant coach's role under Michael De Benito, and winning the championship in 2018. Again, just sort of from a learning point of view and building into the role that you are, that was a hell of a year, 2018. That was a hell of a team. The footage of you all jumping up on the balcony, ironically at Worcester, of course,
yes.
when the champion. But that must be a highlight, I would have thought, when you walk away with that championship in 2018.
Yeah. Goes without saying, really, that Surrey have had a lot of success in the past, but it's been a little while since we were able to sort of get across the line in the championship, to do so in the fashion that we did with that group, as we did, was special. Of course it was. You think of all of and a lot was made of it, rightly so, about the number of players that had come through the Surrey system. the number of players that had developed and become fine cricketers in their own right, but actually a very fine team collectively. It was very special, and I'm sure we were all proud of it, but I'm sure most proud was Alec, because he had such an influential part in that.
As head coach, you took over tough. COVID, it was all very, for everybody, it was a strange time, wasn't it? But I think what I thought was how brilliantly, and you've talked about the youngsters, but you got your Jamie Smiths, you got your Gus Atkinsons, you got those boys in and playing, your Dan Moriartys as well. How much did you enjoy being the head coach at Surrey?
Yeah, it was tough for everybody. It was COVID was. I think we can sort of set that aside as far as it was the case, not just for cricket, just the last 2-3 years, and hopefully we are getting to a stage where we're sort of moving away from all of those difficulties. It was tough. Focusing on the cricket, that was tough as a result of it. Of course, it was. We were somewhat. I suppose we were affected a little more than other teams, simply because we had a lot of guys within 2 bubbles. All of that said and done, we still had a good team. So I'll always look back and be honest enough to sort of say we probably should have given a better account of ourselves than we did. Totally understanding, actually, everybody was going through a bit of a difficult time, both in terms of preparation, in terms of how we were restricted as far as training was concerned, in terms of, I suppose, the anxiety and everything that young people might feel in those sort of circumstances. And nobody was prepared to sort of live like that, let alone to sort of practice play competitively like that. And you know, I repeat the point that I know it was the case for everybody. Yeah. So there's, you know, I'm not certainly suggesting that we were any different. We were perhaps affected a little more because we had a greater number of guys involved in the international team. But that's part of professional sport. You sort of try and deal with absences through injury, absences for selection, all of those sort of things. That's a given. But in a bizarre way, coming back to your point, how much did I enjoy it? I actually really enjoyed the fact that it was quite tough work. Yeah. It almost made it feel as though that there was work to be done, and I was conscious of that. And we, from my recollection of it, from my sort of, if I look back at it, we worked really hard. We worked really hard. We were prepared to be honest enough when we didn't play well enough. We didn't make any excuses. So I'm proud of that fact. I wish we'd have played a little better. A few more games, certainly in the championship. Of course I do. But I look back at it and think we did everything we possibly could. We had times when we didn't play well enough, and you have to accept that. At times, things didn't go our way. Yeah, of course they did, but that's okay. But I'm firmly of the belief we worked as hard as we possibly could do.
So this new role. So you've been to the auction. How much are you looking forward to this? IPL, involved, new franchise, director of cricket, hell of a challenge for you, but one you're obviously absolutely relishing, I would have thought.
Yeah, entirely. The IPL, I mean, I've had a sort of a brief, well, I had a year where I was involved in the IPL, so I've got some experience of it. It's huge. It's a phenomenal thing to be a part of. The standard of cricket is outstanding. The sort of players involved and everything that goes with it is very exciting. There are, as a result, added pressures. There are sort of expectations. All of those things. But I suppose coming back to your point about how difficult it was when I took over as head coach, I quite like the idea that we've got something to do. And I know I'll have my work cut out, I'm sure I will, because I'm sort of having been involved in cricket all my life. This is a very different role. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. The auction was an experience in itself. It really was. As we were speaking earlier, everything that could happen did. We're as a franchise, Gujarat Titans, we are. You don't often get an opportunity to be right at the start of things. To sort of have an opportunity to shape things. Now that can be daunting. It is. That can be hugely exciting. It is. But again, I've been lucky in the people that I've come across up until now. It's not dissimilar to sort of my experience in Surrey. There's good people involved. We're trying to work as hard as we possibly can to get something in place that gives us an opportunity to build slowly. I think we need to be minded of managing expectations, because although the IPL is relatively young in terms of 13 years of, or so, I might get my maths wrong here as well, but it's still, other teams have had 13 years to set up systems, to have things in place, to have a way of working in mind. We're very much sort of trying to figure all of that out at the moment. But hugely excited about it all. A really great sort of senior management group. From a cricket point of view, I'm getting to know the rest of the franchise in terms of the sort of non-cricketing side of it all. And all of that's new as well, so that all of that has to be developed. But it really is quite an exciting sort of opportunity to be a part of.
Well, look, from everybody at Surrey, we wish you all the very best. I'm a silly old sod, but thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, not only watching you as a player, but as a coach and getting to know you as well. And as I say, all we can say is very, very best of luck at the IPL.
Thank you, Jersey. Thank you always for being minded of the sort of pressures that the team, coaches and everybody are under. You always ask the questions that need to be asked, but always do it in a way that is actually understanding of some of the pressures that we're under. I suppose if there's one thing I'd like to say is that I keep talking about the sort of the support cricket needs, the support players need, support coaches need. I think as a club, and I know we have tried to sort of get to a point where we need to be supportive of each other. We need to be tolerant of sort of indifference as far as performance is concerned. That's what sport's about. But if if we can ride those things through together, both from a sort of membership and support point of view, from a staff and a player point of view, you give yourself a chance to be the club that Surrey is. And it's only right that players in cricket should feel as though they are challenged and they're expected to go out and perform. All professionals, all professional cricketers, all have a great deal of pride in their performance. But at times we've just got to be patient with, especially some of the younger guys, especially a young group, especially a new team that's trying to grow, especially a team that sometimes has the pressures of sort of people coming in and out of teams because they're representing England. And there's no greater honour for a cricketer than to represent their country. So I think we've got to be encouraging of that fact while being patient with the group at large. It's a wonderful place. It will always be very dear to me for no other reason than the people that are involved